What's up, guys? Welcome to Facts Not Feelings. In this series, we're going to take firearms straight out of the box and shoot them against our baseline drill. Now, if you're here for a deep dive, we're not going to get into all the specs. We'll cover them a little bit, but this is a performance-based Facts and Not Feelings review. Let's get after it.
Hey folks, I'm Jeff Gonzalez, and I'm here with the ever so talented...
The effervescent Paul.
Effervescent?
Yeah.
You mean like bubbly? Mm-hmm. Very well. Would not have gone that way, but okay. All right, folks, we're here with our Facts Not Feelings segment, and we're going to be talking about how we kind of evaluate some of these new and upcoming firearms, these handguns. But let's go a little bit further and talk a little bit more about what Facts Not Feelings really means.
But first, we want to say thanks to our sponsors, Daniel Defense, for making this video possible, and of course, Winchester for providing the ammo that we shot in the Hellcat. I'm sorry, what were you saying, Jeff?
All right, so let's go into depth a little bit about what are we trying to accomplish with this Facts Not Feelings. Well, as the name implies, what we're trying to do is we're trying to have some sort of baseline that we can then compare and contrast performance with, as opposed to, oh, I liked it, oh, it looked good, or oh, somebody else is shooting, blah, blah, blah. This is something that is somewhat regimented and controlled. You know, we shoot the exact same test over the same course, and it's a 50-round course of fire that each of us shoots through these guns, and we're bringing other members in there. We're bringing staff members to shoot these guns in the same context of the baseline so that we can start to create a pretty deep pool of performance so that we can actually talk with a little bit more authority about, hey, okay, it's not just about us rambling here. There's some performance-based metrics that we are using to evaluate
Which
this.
has been interesting because there are a handful of pistols where I love this gun. It's fantastic. And then I go, wait a second. Because I've never really taken the time to keep and track and, you know, I go out and shoot it. Yeah, I shot it. Great. Okay, well, let's cold start. Here you go. Boom. And it makes a bit of a difference.
It makes a lot of difference. And folks, the reason that we're doing this is because we're trying to remove a little bit of that subjectivity. We're trying to create a little bit more objectivity, and we're also trying to start to collect some data points that we can then use to actually measure stuff. And if anything is of value, it's going to be measurable.
Right.
All right, so let's get into the weeds on this, starting with the specifications. All right, this is our Springfield Armory Hellcat, chambered in
9 by 19 millimeter.
Thank you very much. Okay, so again, one of the things that we're doing with this Facts Not Feelings is we're also looking at the most popular kind of like firearm type, and what we're seeing is, again, concealed carry, everyday carry, self-defense. So, you know, the guns that we're going to be looking at are going to be compact to subcompact to micro-compact in nature. And so here we have some micro-compacts, which is great because we haven't done a lot of them.
No, we haven't
done a lot of the micro-compacts. So let's talk about the specs. So the one thing that we like to start off with, other than the caliber, is going to be the price point. And the price point for this, your base model, the base model comes in at $587.
Yep, and they range a bit. Obviously, you know, here we have one with an optic cut, and it's an FDE, so it's a little bit more. This one came with this Shield SMS. I think they're also shipping it with a Hex Wasp now. There's the RDP, comes with a comp. So yeah, it ranges $587 to, what is it, $926 MSRP. But, I mean, it lets you kind of get what you want. Especially if you're looking to give you some options if you want the all-in-one package. There it is. For us, we shot everything with the optics cut FDE variant here, using the irons.
Yes. So, and let's talk. So, like when we talk about micro compacts, you know, that's a new term out here. Let's put a little bit of definition in there. A lot of times that micro compact is going to have a barrel length of only about 3 inches. So maybe 3.1.
3.1, yep.
Yep. And then the height is another key thing for that. And the height is going to be right around 4 inches, right? So clearly this comes in right at that. The weights are also about reasonable. They're about the same. They're about industry standard, about 17 to 18 ounces. So that's pretty decent. And what is that? Why is that important as far as the designation for a micro compact? Because a micro compact pistol is not just going to be carried on the strong side hip or appendix carry. It also opens up alternative methods of carry, such as ankle carry, pocket carry, even off-body carry. So these types of conditions do very well with these micro compact pistols that kind of fall into that 3-inch barrel length and 4-inch height. Right. So that's why we kind of designate this, and everybody else is designated as a micro compact, but now we're trying to explain why. Why does it meet that? One of the other things that I really liked was it had a non-proprietary rail.
Yep.
So that's kind of nice. I appreciate that. That was a good choice, in my opinion. The magazines come in either an 11-round flush fit or finger extension,
Yep.
And then it has the 13. So one point of note is that with the 11-round standard factory flush fit magazine, it is the highest capacity micro compact.
Yep.
Right now, as of this video, it is the highest capacity
Boom.
micro compact. So that's kind of like, that's a decent accolade of sorts. Of
course.
It's only by 1 round, but maybe that's what you need.
Hey, if you ain't first, you're last.
Okay, I don't know how that has anything to do with this, but anyhow, as Paul mentioned already, they are optic ready. We did have a copy here that was already configured with some sort of miniaturized pistol-mounted optic. And the other thing that we're seeing is that it had kind of like a tactical combat style sight system where it had a really bright, brilliant tritium front sight post, and then it had a rear notch. Right, so we'll talk about that here as we get into the performance, but I think that covers like all the specs that we saw with this particular make and model. All right, so
let's talk about performance.
Performance it is. All right, so the thing about performance from my point of view, what I found was as a micro compact goes, I did not shoot this as well as the other micro compacts that we see. And I used a micro compact as one of my baseline handguns to establish the baselines. So it's got to meet that or exceed it. And so obviously if we go from a micro compact to a subcompact to a compact, the theory is that those should, the larger frame guns should easily meet those standards, right? While I met the standards, it was not, I guess it was not as easy, and you had to work a little bit more. So that was something that, on the performance side was difficult. And a lot of that had to do with that felt recoil. All right, first of all, it's a smaller pistol. It's a lighter pistol.
Tiny pistol, yeah.
You're going to have more, it's just physics. You're going to have more recoil. But compared to some of the other micro compacts that we've done, that felt recoil was a little more noticeable.
And as we talked about a little bit off camera, I wonder why. I don't know what causes it. And for me, if we move, the sight kind of exacerbates my performance a little bit because not only do I have more recoil, but I'm having a harder time getting back on because I'm not used to that U-notch.
Well, that was another thing that I had an issue with as well. So sorry. My bad.
You're fired, Jeff.
That's me right there. That was me. But one of the things that I had a hard time with was my shot-to-shot recovery.
Okay.
All right. When I looked at shot-to-shot recovery, one of the things that really kind of stood out to me was the difficulty in trying to get the sight reasonable enough for the shot required. I needed to get enough. I didn't need it to be perfect, but I needed it to be enough, and I had to work harder to do that. And that was one of the reasons why my performance grade on this was a little bit lower. It's just because I don't like that U-notch. It really kind of just it just didn't make me happy. Did not like it. So I know that you also struggled with that, so that was kind of something that we shared.
I'm probably going to reshoot the test just because I felt like crud. And I feel like...
He uses that a lot for his excuses, by the way.
Well, I feel like crud a lot, but the only reason I say that is because it wasn't really in line with the performance of my other pistols we've shot. It was drastically lower, and so I kind of want to know if that's an anomaly. So if I go shoot this later and all of a sudden shoots right back up, we'll throw it here up on screen. But yeah, no, I kind of crap the bed. It was not great performance for me. The shot group, the distance was pretty difficult. I was, especially when we were timed. That shot-to-shot recovery led to thrown shots, what led to a poor score.
Yeah.
So
when you, again, getting back to that side-by-side comparison, I mean, it is right in the same. It is right there with all the other micro compacts as far as the dimensions and size and weight is concerned. So, what was it that caused us to have the difficulty? I know my shot-to-shot was a little bit slowed down, but that's a time-related issue. But why did I feel that recoil? And I don't know why. So I too will probably look at reshooting this. While my scores weren't terrible, I am curious to see if there's something there, if there's something that we can really kind of identify. Now, the one thing that I will say, give it props to, is that I did like the trigger.
Yeah.
It has, a decent trigger right out of the box, so there's a lot of positive things going for it there. The other thing that I liked about that trigger was that at least the one that I was shooting had a nice crisp trigger break, and that was kind of nice for me. The reset was,
it's a little long.
It is a little bit long, but you can find a little bit of comfort knowing that the more you practice and train with it, the less that's going to be an issue, right? That's something that's on the subjective level that I don't necessarily like to use as a criterion, because if I chose to carry this as my primary carry gun, I'm going to put more time into it
definitely.
to where that reset becomes less of an issue. Less of an issue. So yeah, it did have a little bit of a long reset, but I feel like with a little bit more training, that would probably mitigate itself to where it's not that big a deal. One of the things that really kind of irked me was because of that U notch, my first couple shots were high. And the thing about a U notch is that most of the time it's designed around that close range, rapid fire combat style shooting where, okay, that precision requirement is not that big a deal.
Right.
But when you step back and you now need to shoot for precision, even against the clock, the subtle, misalignment of that sight, and in my case, it was a little bit high, 12 o'clock, which is very normal for the U notches, cost me.
Yep.
Was not happy with that. Do not like, obviously, once I redirected my attention to where I should, my shot group improved, but my point is that out of the holster in a cold start scenario, am I going to still elevate a little bit high just because it's easy to see that front sight? It's hard to see that U notch. Maybe, I don't know. What else did you have?
I think that's about it, really. I'm curious to shoot it again. I wonder if we replace the sights if we'd see different performance.
Well, that's a good question. I think that for sure on shot-to-shot recovery we probably would, because we're more accustomed to seeing square notches, right? And so that's a novelty that was added to the equation that we had a complication for.
Right.
All right. So if we take out that variable and replace it back with something that we're more accustomed to, I would bet shot-to-shot recovery would improve. The question is, would we see any changes to the felt recoil?
Right.
Which is still kind of like the anomaly that we're hunting for. We're trying to figure that out. So I too would like to see the difference with more of a traditional sight system and see what happens. I don't mind the front sight. The front sight was nice.
No, the front sight is nice. The trading front sight, yep.
It's just that rear.
It's easy to see and pick up. I'm just, that rear notch. It's a little.
Yeah, we may need
it's
to
not my jam, I guess.
We may need to follow up and see if these are interchangeable with other common sights, and if they are, we probably would play with that and see what happens. I think that's a good after.
Yep.
We could do a good video after that one. All right, let's get on to the summary. All
right.
right, Paul, on price, I gave it a 3.
So this is a 1, 2, 3 rating system.
Correct.
Price, I give it a 3 as well.
Yeah, so that's the best rating that you can get out of this. On the performance, I gave it a 1.5 just because, again, I did not like the shot-to-shot recovery or the felt recoil.
I'm going to ditto that because I didn't, SEAL Team Jeff, I'm part of it now, so I have to copy him. As of right now, it's 1.5. I'd like to reshoot it, and we'll see if I throw up some different footage here, and if I see something different. Just because I was down in the old Robitussin and might have affected it. Features.
Yeah, so on the features, it's kind of a standard package across the board, so nothing too special about it. So I'm just going to give it a 2. Nothing bad, nothing good, just right there in the middle. So 2 is good for me.
2 as well, only because that sight, I don't like it. I mean, I like that it comes with the optic cut option. I like that the extended mags, the different sights, you can get the comp for it, all that. There's a lot of options there, and I think that's fantastic.
Yeah. Maybe you should have given it a 2.5.
Let's give it a 2.5.
Fair enough.
That is.
Look at that.
Look at that. Boom.
Jeff for the win
that's
again.
a 7 out of 9.
Yeah. So
Boom.
mine overall would be a 6.5. Paul's would be a 7. All right. Good.
What is our mystery metric? Do you know?
It's a mystery to me. So no, I don't.
I'm gonna give it. Chili has beans. Chili definitely has beans.
I need a moment. Because
This is what, see, because it's chili colored.
in the great state of Texas, there are no beans in chili.
I live in Texas.
Point exactly. Infidel. Paul, do you have something to say?
Well, I want to say thank you to Vetter for throwing up holster our way to use for the testing. I want to say, hey, if you want to look fly like me, look at this. Look at these threads. 20% off. Link in the doobly-doo. Vortex Apparel. Check it out.
Is doobly-doo an industry term?
It's a Andrew-defined term, doobly-doo. Yeah, down there.
Very well. All right, hey, I'm Jeff Gonzalez. Listen, folks, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you check out all these new videos that we're going to be putting out. So if you have something you want us to look at, post it down below. All right, until then, take care, stay safe.